The topic I have is really operational intelligence. And really, we've looked at where does OSIsoft want to be in the next 5 years. We want to be a vendor that really owns the space of operational intelligence. And it's going to be a journey, and we can't do this journey alone. We need your help, and we need your observations, your input, to help us understand what does operational intelligence mean, number one, and number two, what's the role of a user in this space? So bear with me. Next step is we really need to say it's your opportunity. For this conference here, your job in this role of an operational intelligence journey is to share, innovate, talk to each other. So could you take a moment and turn to the person next to you and say hello? And you, sir, could you give back that gentleman's wallet? It's very important to be friendly. But that's why we're here, is we've got a lot of content to share, but you have each other to talk to and share ideas no matter what industry you're in. I'm sure you'll learn from each other. So on this journey, we need to take a couple things in mind. What would life be without electricity? Can you imagine it? Anyone old enough to remember what life was without electricity? What if you can't just take your laptop, your television set, and plug it into a wall? What if you could not do that? It's a necessity of life, electricity. We take it for granted. It's always on. These bright lights are in my face. We have electricity all around us. And is there a value for electricity? What's the return on investment of electricity? You just have to have it. When you do a project and you're building a new plant, electricity, redundancy of it, scalability, serviceability is a huge aspect, but you really don't have a return on investment for electricity. The next one we take a look at is water. Another one taken for granted. How many of you got up this morning, turned on the faucet, and brushed your teeth? Did you think about how much you paid to do that? Did you think about the return on investment to have a faucet on with water? We take it for granted. It just has to happen. How many of you use water in your processes in your company today? Everyone should raise their hand. Everybody should raise your hand. I didn't even use the electricity one. Water. What if we didn't have water? What is the return on investment for water? The next one is this gentleman. What if we didn't have internet? How many of you have a mobile device on you right now that you're using? And you just expect to be connected to the internet now. It's part of life. And it's an infrastructure that you really can't put a return on investment. You just have to have it, this connectivity. Well, when we look at the world around us, the other one I would bring up that's become so important is data. What would your business be without data? How would you make decisions, drive profits, increase productivity if you didn't have data? And my thesis here is that when you think about the pie system and where we've been servicing our customers, we really try to attach to this type of discussion. Data is something you just need to run your business. And our job in this operational intelligence is to provide it scalable, reliable, in a secure fashion, so you can put it in context to drive profitability. But, you know, if you didn't have this visibility, what directions would you take? How do you make a decision on what you're going to do this year versus last year? And how are you doing something different that made more sense? So our argument is in the press, or if you read any trade magazine, that data is front and center in all IT topics today. What people are doing with data, who owns the data, the privacy of that data. Did you notice that you were all taking a picture of? How many of you are offended? And now the privacy, what if that picture is now put on the internet? I see you're upset, sir. We can talk about it. There's an HR booth out front. You can lay down. We can talk about it. But once you have all this data, and if you've noticed, look closely, we've taken away the numbers. So I have no idea what the context of this data is. And I'd really like you to think about if you're using a pie system today and you're managing that pie system by just the tag names, and you're in a plant and you know, because you've been working there 10, 20 years, you know the context of your data. What happens when a new employee shows up? What happens when you want to share data across your enterprise? You need to put context on it so people understand your data. So in this journey of trying to understand these infrastructures, you just have to have them. Then we all realize that data, you've come to this conference to share your ideas, that's very important. And then putting the understanding around it, we move to really the opportunity. And this is the best part, in my opinion. The opportunity is that every single day, more and more data is being generated. And let me give you a great example. So if I log onto my phone right here, and I would be able to share my phone, you would see that I have this device on my arm, right? And so I am personally generating data. Can you imagine this? I'm just walking around. Hi, how are you, David?
Good.
Nice to see you. You don't need to go to the HR booth. You look fine. Can you hold that for me? Monitor that for me. If you could put my display up, can you see it? I need to log back in. David, what are you doing? That's my credit card information. That's different type of data. We weren't enjoying that. So what my purpose here is that I am generating data now. This is the opportunity when we think of where OSIsoft is going and the operational intelligence space. How's that? Okay, David, you're going to be our witness. You just hold this. All right? How many steps do I have?
1,403.
I have been very active this morning. 1,403 steps. So I'm going to keep walking. You maintain and watch my data. Okay? I appreciate it. There's no magic here. It's just me walking back and forth and I'm generating data. How many people have a Fitbit? Yeah? How people have outstepped me today? You have more, what? You have more steps than me? But the opportunity there is now we can start sharing between people the data that we're collecting, right? I'm generating data off of me. I have a heartbeat. I have a temperature. I have now my steps. David's watching it. If you flip there, you'll see some other people. You'll notice that Patrick Kennedy, he's beating the crap out of me in steps. You see that? But the opportunity is amazing. And this journey of taking on this opportunity, we need your help. We need to help understand what we can do better to take on this ability to own the space of operational intelligence. Now, this is kind of what we're perceived as is a purpose-built data function, which is this Fitbit. It's a silo. I'm collecting data in an application for one single purpose. But what happens if I'm collecting different types of data and I want to be able to share it? And this has really been our fundamental value proposition, is that we come in and take these silos of data and we bring it and make them into one single infrastructure and join these different types of data together. And so we've really positioned ourselves as an infrastructure, taking that real-time data, the historical data, and adding context to it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is the key piece I would like you to take away, is that when you're thinking of working with OSIsoft, we're going to come and talk to you about our historian to infrastructure journey. And during that time, we need to really help us understand that putting this infrastructure in is just like making sure you have electricity, you have water, and you have internet. And the data just being available that you can walk up to any device and have that data. How are my steps?
1,460.
Okay, I keep trying. So in our journey on operational intelligence, the first thing we need to do is define it. And if you can look here in Wikipedia, is really this business analytics, visibility, insight to streaming, events and operations. It really fits what we do. And so then you have to really figure out where's our journey start and is our journey ever going to be complete? So we start from the beginning, which is really where many of you started. You started small, taking your SCADA, your PLCs, your DCSs, and you started collecting data into the PI system. You then added different types of data into your journey. Maybe you started collecting Fitbit data into your PI system. Maybe you started collecting temperatures from different rooms within your organization. Maybe you started looking at your IT equipment. But the key then is, once you've got all this data, is to put contextual analysis all over it. You want to aggregate, do analytics within the PI system, or also you might want to do analytics and aggregate outside the PI system in other packages, other software tools that you want to reach with your different users within the organization. Visualization visualize it and then report. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, is drive real data-driven decisions. 2, do a couple things. There's really 3 things we can help you do. 1, you can reduce cost. 2, you can innovate and find profitability. And 3, reduce risk or safety. Every example that you see at this conference or up on our website from past conferences really roll up to those 3 functions. And I'll dig a little deeper into those in a moment. But the first thing I'd like to do is announce on this journey, many times when we're going towards the middle of the journey, we have to elevate our relationship. Elevate our relationship in a number of ways, from not just a vendor to a company, but really become a strategic partner with you. So in 2008, we introduced the enterprise agreement from OSIsoft. We have over 100 customers involved in that today, and our goal is to move that to 1,000. 1,000 customers partnering with us in a strategic manner. This is a really fun program for us because not only, of course, there's a commercial aspect, but the innovation that happens, the open dialogue with the client to understand where our roadmap is going, where you're wanting to go, and the things that we can do together to help you run your business better. But I would be amiss if I didn't recognize a renewal of an enterprise agreement. And I wanted to invite our friends from Shell, John de Koning, up on stage with me. John is the technical manager for enterprise solutions from Shell Global Solutions. And I wanted to thank you very much. I appreciate you for coming up. Do you have a Fitbit on?
I don't know.
David, how many steps?
You're up to 1,553.
All right, that's good. Excellent. So John, everyone, could you give him a round of applause for our partnership? We're going to have a picture. May I have, like this. Let's do picture. All right, that's going to be on the internet. Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, we're excited to announce that, but who in the audience would also like to be engaged in this? We encourage you to come talk to us about the enterprise agreement. If we're going to take a strategic approach at this operational intelligence journey, we've really got to elevate our game from OSIsoft, and we need to elevate it with you and our relationship with you as a customer. And you take this journey and you move it into really what we're going to call the infrastructure, this real-time infrastructure of data and events that helps give you that reliability, scalability, security throughout your enterprise. But this is what our business plan really falls into place. So OSIsoft for the last 35 years has focused on just the infrastructure. But you, a customer, really focus on projects, you focus on applications, and you focus on outcomes. And what I would like to help you understand is where that infrastructure sits. We have this infrastructure in the enterprise that roll up to what we would call business impacts. And you can see there across the top, process optimization, quality improvement, health of assets and uptime, energy efficiencies, safety, and regulatory requirements. As we brought on some new employees into OSIsoft, they were amazed. They were unbelievably amazed. They go to our website and they actually spent the hours to count how many user presentations were on our website. Over 1,100 user presentations of where they've taken the infrastructure and mapped them into business impacts for their company. And that's where this journey is so important and where you play a huge role. And there's new things coming. Big data. Anyone talk about big data? This is something we've been doing for quite some time. Somehow the press has just caught on to it that data is very important and that there's massive amounts out there and real-time data is important, historical data is important. And this is really where we fit inside that organization. Inside your IT organizations, you're probably doing a big data project. We encourage you to engage OSIsoft to help you understand with the IT and OT integration where Pi fits as an infrastructure to enable all your big data projects. Especially if you're starting to think things like cloud or Internet of Things, we have wonderful positioning around this operational intelligence driven with an infrastructure, bringing the people, the data, and the assets together to really solve some of these trends that are happening from an IT perspective. But we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. In the last 2 years, we've really ignited our partner influence with our new partner program called Ecosphere. Tim Johnson runs our partner program globally, and they've put a lot of effort into ensuring that this infrastructure can transform and make sure that we're open for applications. The infrastructure is application ready. We're wanting and desiring to work with many partners to help us understand how we can drive value into those business impacts, because those business impacts, maybe a customer can do it alone, or they would require a partner. One I'd like to mention that we're really excited about is the Esri. You'll hear later today about ArcGIS and how real-time data and space come together, space and time. When I first talked to customers about this, it seemed kind of, well, why aren't you doing that already? It's just amazing that you bring these two together, space and time, and the great things you can do within your organization. So look forward to seeing that. So now, if you think about this infrastructure, how do we make it stronger? You're going to hear from Ray and the team today about all the new products that we're releasing, the new capabilities that really empower this infrastructure. So we look forward to that. And then when you think about our roadmap, we have to think about what we're doing in the future. So many of you are engaged with our product managers, either through our enterprise agreement or through Whisper Suites. If you haven't been invited to the Whisper Suite, go to the HR booth first, ask about the Whisper Suite, and then we'll see. How many steps do I have? Thank you very much. But we're really looking towards what does our roadmap go in the future? And Ray will talk to a few of those themes as well. So this is where I kind of defined our journey up to operational intelligence. We really need you to help us get there. And really mapping these business impacts is what you'll be seeing from us, is where a customer like you have presented something and results that drive up under process optimization. You have a new page or Blue Star from China where they're actually finding huge savings in process optimization. You then have quality improvements where Energon, PG&E, or Petronas out of Indonesia are doing wonderful things with this infrastructure. And these are the types of presentations you can find on our website. Or if you come to conferences like this, what about another quality improvement with Pacific Rubles Energy or Pemex or Talisman? Another quality improvement you'll hear from Mole if you went to the industry day yesterday, or they'll have some talks as well throughout the conference. But what about asset health and uptime? Because this is where you innovate. Get ideas on how to take this infrastructure and apply it to your business and have impact. Pemex and Janssen, energy efficiency, doing sustainability, water, electricity, and gas, and driving down costs. Carnegie Mellon will be sharing on the stage tomorrow some really great things they're doing with the infrastructure and big data. Facilities management from Dalkia, University of Iowa. What about a smart city? San Diego has thought of the city as a system, microgrids, taking and how does generation, consumption, reduction in consumption help an overall city? Very cool stuff. University Davis doing research, facilities management, water studies. I don't know if you've heard, we've had a drought in California, and they're doing wonderful things to understand how much energy does it take to move water from the north of California down to the south in LA so that our actors will have water. It's very important. These become endless, and this is how we need your help. Tell us the stories. How do we share them with each other so you can truly drive business impact?